Nobody's talking about this crypto. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet. Let's get into it. We're looking at Floki. It has been brought up in the past, and I am bringing it back up as it does have some pretty nice potential. When we start just drawing on this, we can see a W pattern starting to form. We're getting higher lows from this point up, building that trend line. We are now pushing over that 200 EMA, and I like to bring in this pattern, just look at how it's building up. So we see that here's a shoulder, a head. This would be the right shoulder. But you see I had that pullback, a little bit of consolidation, and then is now testing over that 200 EMA on the daily, which is very important. Now just take a look at that pattern, and we're going to move right on over to render. Render is something that I put some money in recently, currently up around 5%. We can see right or left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This could potentially be it, but it's not near the neckline, which is more formation for a right shoulder. It is still a little ways underneath the 200 EMA on the daily, but it is very nice entry. You could potentially wait for a pullback if you're not in already. Keeping that in mind, we look on over at GRT. GRT, similar pattern. We see the left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder about to form, but it's getting a wick off on the lower side. So you can consider this the shoulder real quick, pushing back up to this 10 and up here to around 13 cents for GRT. Still has a very long way to go. It's also underneath the 200 EMA on the daily, but the next stop roughly is around the 20-cent mark before it hits another downward trend line. And once that breaks, it'll take off as well. Looking over at QNT. QNT building nice and steady support, keeping the 200 EMA nice and close, and pushing upwards slowly. We are in the 0.786 on the Fibonacci retracement. Next step, we're trying to hit that high that we had previously around 124, 125. And then beyond that is over 140. QNT has a long way to go. It's looking very healthy. So don't panic. It is building up. But you do want to keep in mind what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin had that nice push up. We could see a little bit of consolidation for a further push up. But when people start taking money out of Bitcoin, they start tossing it into other cryptocurrencies. So for example, like Bonk is a meme coin. Major pump once it broke over that 200 EMA for the second time, pushed up, retested it as support, and I believe it's up like 34%. Don't try and catch the knife on this or FOMO, because this will most likely have a pullback back to around the 0.00002 area. But Bonk is definitely a meme coin to keep in mind. Just looking at that volume, it looks very nice. We are out of the RSI, so this can move very quickly and retrace very quickly. Moving over to IOTX. IOTX pushed up, is testing right within that triangle that we have pasted. We could readjust these lines a little bit, making it more of this of a triangle. But IOTX is not a bad bet, as it did push up over that downward trend line. It is still testing off that 200 EMA, as we can see these wick offs getting pushed downwards. We just need to break this downward trend line, and then we'll start pushing up towards the 3-cent mark. And the next major stop is most likely here around 0.54, and then this black downward trend line at 0.07. But 2 cents turning into 7 cents is not bad. And zooming out into the bigger picture, we can see that it has a long way to go as well, all the way up here at 40 cents from a 2-cent investment. Just keep IOTX in mind, waiting for it to break that triangle that it is trying to get out of and above the 200 EMA. Moving on over to DNT and BNT. DNT is still needing to retrace a little bit. It's in consolidation. We're getting some wick offs on the top, so we may see a further reduced price here. But keep in mind the RSI is about to be touching on the yellow, And sometimes like back here in April, we see that it touched right on the yellow and then had that major pump up. But keep DNT in mind. And lastly, for this video is going to be BNT, looking beautiful, still taking off. It is at 72 cents. We had our entry all the way down here before it even broke that downward trend line, as we could keep a tighter trend line on, there we go, on this. So if we draw a further trend line from this point downward, we can see once it broke over that downward trend line, it was bound to push up to this one, broke over that, held it as support, and then came up here to this 78-cent mark. But it is still looking very healthy. Inverse head and shoulders playing out. We can expect to push up to at least 77 cents. Beyond that, up to 92 cents. Beyond that, it's got a very long way to go, all the way up here to around $1.56 before we see a little bit of resistance. And that is just the beginning, as it has a very nice all-time high. Beyond this, I think it was $10.50, and currently sitting at 72 cents. So not a bad entry on BNT, but none of this is financial advice. On the next video, we'll talk about XCN, XLM, and quite a few others. Good luck, have fun with it, like and subscribe if you want. All the references are in the links below.